Hello, everybody. Hello, and welcome to a upgrade, if you will, of Endless Multiverse, episode 52, with your co-host Chainsaw Reacts and Andy. And as you guys will see within this episode, we have taken and listened to your feedback because we did ask you guys a little bit ago about your feedback on the show, and we have implemented some of those things. And I think you guys will hopefully appreciate them, and we do thank you guys for the feedback. How are you feeling, Andy? This week has been crazy.
I am for once caught up with everything. So this weekend, I'm just gonna sleep.
Mm-hmm.
I might order some food
There you
and then
go.
go sleep again. So, no, I cannot kid enough how tired I really, really am. So,
Mm-hmm.
but how are you doing? How's your week been?
Crazy, lots of trailers. Just trying to maintain everything that has been occurring, because literally this episode we could have had more stuff, but we had all these trailers, and we actually didn't include the Indiana Jones because we had already a lot of stuff to cover besides what dropped today.
Oh, there was a
um
trailer for
yeah,
Indiana.
Indy. I actually didn't watch it because Indiana Jones doesn't do well for my channel for some reason. But it's okay. But I'm excited for the film nonetheless. But we have a lot of things, guys. We're talking about, of course, Spider-Verse, Across Spider-Verse, trailer 2, Blue Beetle. We're talking Secret Invasion. Guys are like, where's the reaction? Just didn't film it. Sorry. The Oliver Returns Flash trailer, which is amazing, which would have been the best trailer, in my opinion, even though they're all great, until they dropped the Ahsoka teaser today, which we'll talk about at the end of the show. We got to build the hype up for that. But are we ready to dive in, Andy, to
I
this
am. Let's
episode?
let's go.
Constantine, take it away.
All right then. On with the show.
So, in with this new changes, we have, you guys see here, we have Endless Multiverse, and now look at this. Across the Spider-Verse second trailer. Look at the difference here. And you guys asking for, hey, we need to know what you guys are talking about. So now you know we're talking about the second trailer for Spider-Verse, Across the Spider-Verse. Now, this trailer was so good and gave us some interesting bits of detail in terms of the story, because that first teaser didn't really give us like too many things besides, oh, look at all these spider characters. And then here's a poster, then here's an expanded poster confirming Spectacular Spider-Man and all that in the mix. But this one gave us more of focus on Miles and what's happening with him right now with his family. And also, it seems Miles makes a decision that Spider-Man 2099 is not too happy with. I really enjoyed.
I don't think Spider-Man has smiled once in one of these damn trailers so far.
No, he has not. He's been very angry. But I really enjoyed the trailer. The animation is so good. I think it's crazy because I thought the animation for Into the Spider-Verse 2018, of course, was great. I feel like they've improved and made it even better, which is crazy to say because I'm like the first one looks fantastic. So I love the trailer. It's really cool. What did you think about the second trailer for Spider-Verse? And I'm guessing it got you more excited.
I mean, first I was annoyed because, like, okay, Sony, who the fuck drops a trailer at like 3 a.m. in the morning? That was so random because I remember I woke up and I see Spider-Verse is trending. I'm like, well, I know the trailer is coming today, but like, good lord, if people like, how are people already getting this trend?
Mm-hmm.
And then I see, oh shit, it's out. And I go to look at the timestamp when the Sony account posted it. I'm like, why? Why are we doing it at 3 a.m.?
I tried to figure that. I was confused. It was 3 hours when I woke up that morning. I'm like, what happened?
I mean, I think one of the biggest aspects from this trailer is the fact that, I mean, the MCU is literally canon in this multiverse now. So,
So did he sense that, or did he? Because you remember that part at the end of No Way Home where he had all like the multiverse starting to break and he had all those silhouetted characters, kind of like breaking through before Doctor Strange shut it all down. Remember that part in No Way Home? I wonder if he was like there.
I mean, this point they were opening so many portals that I'm guessing he was that Miguel must have realized that, oh, there's something going on in this one world, and so I'm guessing, because they literally say Doctor Strange. That means that Marvel Studio had to sign up on this. So I wonder where else this might go.
Yeah.
I think Miguel is just kind of like really unhinged right now because I'm like, why what is his motivations here really? Like, why is he specifically so determined to stop Miles from the decision that he makes? Because we know that Miguel isn't really the true villain of the story, but it's like they're going to always be pitted against each other. But yeah, no, I think I mean, again, I understand why there's been so many delays besides the pandemic, but like they had to seriously like up the ante on this. I understand like that they had to keep pushing it off and pushing it off, and so now it seems like it's finished. I'm sure. I mean, I'm sure they're still working on it in some capacity, but it was. I mean, good lord. I mean, and this is the thing. This is just what they're doing for the second movie. We don't know what they're doing in Beyond the Spider-Verse. It's like we're all shitting our pants right now.
Yeah,
but it's like, I mean, we know that the third one is gonna like go crazier.
Yeah. The question is like, okay, so with the title Beyond the Spider-Verse, are we traveling to other Marvel animated worlds that are not just Spider-Man but other heroes? Because I mean, like you said, we mentioned Doctor Strange. Are we going to travel to an Earth where there's the X-Men? Not saying X-Men 97 or the 90s X-Men, but is there going to be to where Miles is going to be interacting with other heroes that are not Spider-Verse centric? Like, I don't know, because it's animation, so it's a different type of rights. So I don't know.
Yes and no, because it's like, again, like something like Doctor Strange would still be something they had to like,
Yeah,
not to make a massive legal thing out of it, but they're like, yeah, they would need their permission, so on. But that's the thing. It wouldn't shock me if this new deal they have when they were going to produce No Way Home also was like, well, how about we include some animation because we have some of these anime projects in the works. So, but I don't know if I would want the third one to necessarily focus on like what it can do with like either Marvel character, either MCU characters. I feel like, again, like Spider-Verse is big in its own way that I don't feel like. And the thing is, I'm also MCU'd out for the moment, so I'm like, let's not ruin.
Well, I'm not saying bring the MCU. I'm just saying, like, the title Beyond the Spider-Verse, that could imply that he travels to other Earths that are not spider centric, but they have, say like the Avengers. It's like I'm not saying MCU Avengers. I'm saying just like okay, here's a version of a team of the Avengers, or here's the Hulk. Like not so much MCU.
If they're cameos, that's fine. I just don't want them to have a big role because I think this is Miles's franchise and we should be excited for him. I think that's the thing. I think some people are forgetting that, there's all these cameos, but it's like they are not the stars of this film. It's Miles, it's Gwen, it's Peter B. Parker, and we're gonna make Jessica Drew in this film and so on. So yeah,
Mayday, little Mayday.
Spinning, never seen a baby spin. That's
yeah. Well, that was my thing. I wanted to ask you. Did you? I'm guessing just based on what you were saying that you like the fact, because I like the fact that the second trailer highlighted that Miles is still the central focus, because it could be washed over with so much stuff they're incorporating and new things and all these spider characters. But I like the fact that they still made a point that it is still Miles' story. And that's very apparent.
I think I would, if I were Sony, I would just stop showing more cameos or like designs, because again, I think because how some fans are out there, like they're gonna like think that somehow like if someone here expected Spider-Man to have some sort of like big finish off, I mean that's not gonna happen. It's like I just hope that whatever, because we're now 2 months away, so I think that this needs to be the last they show, and then not too many more cameos, because it is Miles' story. So. But right now I think they just need to focus on like how to sell Miguel, because I'm like, I barely liked Oscar Isaac as Moon Knight, so, and I don't want to have to dislike him as it's like, can this brother get a break? Like, first he played in an Apocalypse that was dull as fuck. Moon Knight is barely functional to me, which is probably why they haven't gone a second season. And with Miguel, like, he's just unhinged as fuck. Then I'm like, can he play one character in the comics that is like not gonna go insane?
I think it's a red herring. I think there's something going on. We'll find out, and I think that's not just what it is. But
did you not see his psychotic face when he's?
I did, but I feel like that's just that's not the whole thing. I feel like there's something more going on here. I don't know.
I hope so, because I'm just wondering, like, Oscar Isaac belongs in the comic book genre, but like, can we stop giving him roles where like he's like
Yeah.
barely likable? But I dug it. I did dig it.
Mm-hmm. Let's dive into the world of DC a little bit.
The world DC. It is Blue Beetle, and y'all.
Yeah.
I may have I'm it's a shocker that I didn't break YouTube's algorithm or platform, because the amount of times that I watched this trailer is like, y'all don't want to even want to know. But we finally get to see the first look at Zolo. I don't know how to pronounce his last name, but as Jaime Reyes, aka Blue Beetle, and we get a great taste of what his world looks like, and this will be heading to theaters in August. And so now, Jason, you're more familiar with this kid than I am because you watch Cobra Kai.
Mhm.
I think the only person in this film that I'm familiar with is George Lopez, and that's just from watching the damn his damn talk show from many years ago. So,
Mhm.
how did you feel from seeing whoever he plays in Cobra Kai now as Jaime?
Um, it's interesting. I think what's interesting about it is that this film had a lot to live up to, because it is like, it's still surprising that this thing actually still exists, because I never thought we would get Blue Beetle in a film. I thought maybe at some point we'll get Blue Beetle, whether it's Ted Kord or Jaime, in live action at some point, because the popularity of the character has grown over the years in regards to um in regards to Young Justice, especially with Jaime being the Blue Beetle, and how much they've kind of focused on him over the years. So this is surprising. I think he looks great. What I really appreciated and I thought was really cool, because it is scary when they show his transformation for the first time with the scarab. It looks like it's out of a horror film. The way it's kind of portrayed, with him slamming up into the roof and then his body being taken over. I thought it was like really well done, because it looked crazy, and seeing his family freaking out, because if that was just him by himself being taken over by the scarab, I don't think it would have had the same impact. But seeing his family dynamic and then that happening, I think was really impactful, and I think it's gonna be more impactful for the actual film itself. But then, as you see in the pictures here, I mean, literally, the suit looks perfect. This is like, there's no like question of, is this Blue Beetle? Like, no, this is Blue Beetle. This looks amazing. Um, but I really enjoyed the trailer, and I like the fact that, because see, with the first trailer, they could have easily just showed a little bit of Blue Beetle and more of just Jaime by himself without the transformation. But they said, okay, look, we got to knock it out of the park right out the gate. So we're gonna show a lot of Blue Beetle, show the scarab, and show the family dynamic, because I feel like that's what the film really is. It's gonna be mostly about him and his family, and him being taken over by the scarab. I feel like that's the main focal point. I don't feel like there's too many other things outside of that that's going to be kind of happening here. But what did you think? I mean, obviously you sound like you loved it.
Yeah, no, I mean, this was kind of like, you're talking about like that we haven't seen a lot of those these type of like family DC stuff. Like, yeah, we really haven't since like Black Lightning, really. So
Mhm.
and that's also a lesser known character. So no, I mean, for me, it's like I loved Jaime since 2010 basically, and I this is one of the few brown superheroes that I have that I can look up to on this, and like, so that's why I'm happy that this is finally coming to fruition. And from the various sources that I've talked about this film, like, there's a gangbuster amount of stuff going on here.
Mm.
I mean, I did lose my shit when I saw Ted and Dan's costumes, because I'm like, they're just going for it.
Mhm.
And I just love that, I know there's been a little bit of controversy about the where this movie is placed in terms of, like,
Oh
because
yes.
in the comics he is from, I'm trying to wait, what city was it again? He's from El Paso in Texas, but in this film they're making they're and I think this was just added to the comics. In DC, like Palmera City,
Mm.
and I agree with the criticism of that, because I'm like, why did we need a DC city for Jaime, who is such a huge representation for the Hispanic community? So, um, I mean, I don't know if it's too late to like change all the visual signs because they can't reshoot it, but they could digitally change all the signs. But people are going to know that's not El Paso. So, but outside of that, like yeah, because when we saw the set photos last year for the first time, and we saw him in the suit, I think many of us were thrown off by the fact that, oh, this is not motion capture. This is a physical suit. Like he's like the helmet, everything, and the way it moves is just it's just phenomenal. It's like chef's kiss. And I'm really interested to meet Jenny, Jenny Cord, because I think it raises some questions about what Ted Cord is up to in this universe.
Yeah,
I never thought I would get the day where Susan Sarandon would be a big bad, but I'm like, I'm here for it. And yeah, and I love the fact that they're very highlighting much of the family aspect, and that it is just, again, this is, and here's the thing, I'm telling this to everyone. Y'all didn't support Black Adam. Y'all need to fucking support this one. Because if you all keep asking, like, why do we not get more sequels of this and this and this? Because y'all need to get your asses out of the house and go to the theater and see this. Because I want.
Do we know the budget for Blue Beetle? Do we know?
Not insane. I don't even know if it's on the free digital level. If anything, as far as I've heard, but I don't know if it's true or not. It's not beyond 150 million. It could be less.
Let me look it up. Blue Beetle. If I can actually spell Blue Beetle.
I don't think they've announced it yet. I think they've talked about. I think that those kind of details come out.
Yeah, it's not out yet.
But yeah, like, and the thing is, like, this film, if this can just succeed, we can see it be part of the DC universe. But I think that people need to actually go see it. Don't just tweet hashtags and stuff like. Let's go and see it. I'm sorry, we live in Hollywood where, like, the way for something to succeed is through money. So go see the damn thing.
I saw Black Adam, saw Shazam. You gotta go see them in order to support them. Because your online Twitter support doesn't help.
It's not enough at all. So yeah, I'm hoping that I'm expecting probably one more trailer by July. And
I'm probably expecting another Blue Beetle trailer by the time Flash comes out, which I think is June, or July.
See, I think they're saving it to June because of Comic-Con.
Oh, well, that may be true too. Yeah, they might do that because it doesn't Flash come out after Comic-Con?
No, June 16th.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll see. They might release it beforehand because they might want to put it in front of the Flash. I don't know, but I'm assuming with that next trailer will be tickets going on sale for it. That's my guess.
That's yeah. I don't know how any of that works, but I just I'm hoping that it's just. I need this one to succeed, and I'm hoping that again, is it going to make $1 billion? I don't know. But it would be great because it would be great if it had the Black Panther effect or something like that. Of like, it's based on the lesser known character, but again, it's like, and again, this will be the first film we have post Flash. So like,
yeah.
I don't know why so many people are upset about what they said about Batman at the end. I'm like,
I don't know.
Since when do we pretend that Batman isn't crazy? And so, and again, it's like, it's from one person's perspective in that film. It's like everyone, like you really think that's the first time someone in the DC has called Batman a fascist? Like, come on, y'all. Some people, some people in this DC probably think he's a Republican or a liberal or a Democrat or a communist or whatever. So it's like, I don't know why people got so up in arms. So, but Twitter's crazy.
Before we move on, Ace says, do you guys think that there should be a mouth on Blue Beetle? I mean, well, we didn't see Blue Beetle talk in the trailer.
We hear him talk, but we don't. He's asking like in Young Justice where we see like an opening for the mouth.
I mean, maybe, but I mean, I don't know. I mean, maybe.
I don't mind that there isn't one, because the thing is, like, the thing that they made up for was like, it's kind of like the Spider-Man mask of when he moves his eyes, like you see him go up and down. So
yeah, well, I can't wait to see what the second trailer has for us. Let's move back to Marvel because we're talking Secret Invasion. Now, it's funny because I actually looked this up because I typed in Secret Invasion official trailer just to verify it was the official trailer. The Secret Invasion trailer from D23 was also called the official trailer. So I don't know what was happening on that. But anyways, so we're talking about the most recent one that dropped on Sunday. You guys were asking, where's the reaction? I didn't record it. Apologies. It just came out at a weird time, and Ben 10 was already out. So I decided not to do it, but it's okay. It is what it is. Secret Invasion, based off that first trailer, and now this trailer. Wow. I'm not too surprised, but I'm saying wow because of the tone. It's very serious. Like, no jokes. This is all serious, dark shit. And it makes sense because we're dealing with Skrulls invading and infiltrating different aspects of the government and the world. Now, something I noticed, and I wonder if you noticed this in the trailer as well in terms of the dialogue, there was a part where it says about calling the Avengers or asking for their help, and Nick Fury says, I need to do this on my own. I need to do this fight on my own. That's the one thing I think is questionable. I do think we're going to see some appearances besides Don Cheadle and others that we already know are confirmed that were shown in the trailer or have been confirmed in casting. But I feel like we're going to get some characters, whether it's a Skrull version of them, not saying like major characters like Robert Downey Jr. I doubt they can afford that. But I feel like the thing of the calling the Avengers, no, I need this to fight on my own. I don't agree with that. But then again, that's the larger problem of the MCU, right? If there's something going on, how come there's no one else coming to help? Is everybody constantly doing things to where they can't help? So
do we know where did
we don't know timeline wise where this is. We don't know. I'm assuming it's post, obviously, Endgame. I'm assuming it's post return of the blip or whatever, because we had Nick Fury at the end there. But we don't know how long.
Like it's opposed Ant-Man or it's opposed Wakanda Forever or whatever and so on.
That's a good question. I would assume yes, but once Black Widow came out and that was a prequel, I don't know where shit takes place at this point. I don't think they've confirmed when this takes place, timeline wise, but it definitely is a very well-made trailer in the tone of it. Did you like the tone? The serious tone of it?
Yeah, it was very Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. actually, like going back to this like spy thriller that I love so much about that show. And I had an interesting conversation. I don't know if Craig is still in the chat, KZTV. If he's here, say hi, Craig. But he mentioned a good point about, because Secret Invasion has obviously a huge meaning in Marvel Comics as one of the most infamous storylines. But the fact that we don't have any, because one of the fun things that I remember he described to me was the idea of not knowing which Avenger was a Skrull and which Avenger was actually themselves. Mm-hmm. And I can see from both ways. But again, it's like, I think someone like Nick Fury or Maria Hill, even, who I'm hoping that the MCU has completely wasted Maria Hill, first of all. Like, she does nothing. So I'm hoping this show will actually get into the meat of Maria. And so like someone like her or Fury or Rhodey can be great characters that we can kind of start sitting and wonder, is this a Skrull? Is this them? Yeah. Like the thing, like, I don't need necessarily an Avenger to show up. Now, at the same time, I can see it from someone like Craig's point of view that it would be great if like at least one or two Avenger is in it. Like, and the thing is that you could have like someone could be impersonating Wong, someone could be impersonating Doctor Strange, or someone could be impersonating, like, there's so many characters that it doesn't need to necessarily be X, Y, and Z.
They could be impersonating Bucky, right? They could be impersonating
that could set up
Thunderbolts.
Yes, thank you. See, I'm losing my brain cells. Like, I'm like, there's no other part that he's coming up in. So, but I never read. Did you ever read Secret Invasion? Because I never did.
It's been a bit. The thing I usually refer to when I think of Secret Invasion, besides the comics, is what the Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes did with their version of Skrulls, because we knew that Cap was taken over. We knew that Cap wasn't Cap for the first bit of season 2 because it was a Skrull Cap. I forget what Joshua Fine called it, Skrull Cap or something, but they had a name for it. But that was the thing to where we knew. The team didn't know, but we knew who was the Skrull. But then it got to the point where we don't even know who to trust, because then they started doing all these reveals. So I feel like that's what the show's going to do, is that there's going to be points where Nick Fury is going to show up, but is it really Nick Fury?
Yeah.
Like, I guess, because like, say he's going to her, and like, wait, is that Nick Fury or is that even her? Like, it's a
It's
question.
It's Olivia Colman's character. I scroll.
Yeah, that's a question
Oh,
too.
holy fuck! We have Olivia Colman in the MCU. You know how fucking insane that is.
And
And Emilia Clarke.
Yeah, and I feel like this is great for Emilia Clarke because she deserves to get another big role after Game of Thrones. But the thing is too is that with Olivia Colman and Emilia Clarke, like they can now, because like they've already said that they're gonna not necessarily the characters, but the storyline is going to continue in other projects because this is not finishing up in this show. This is too big.
Listen, if you cast Olivia Colman and Emilia Clarke, you do not just have them for one show and then be done.
Yeah,
If that actually happened, I would be like Kevin. I almost said Kevin Smith. Kevin Feige, you're being as dumb as Zaslav. Do not waste these two women. It's like because the thing is, like, I thought it was too good to be true when the reports came out. I'm like, no, they're just in negotiating, but they're gonna pass. There's no way they're gonna do this. But then they did it, and I'm like, holy fuck.
And that tells me one thing that is true. It's a good script, or it's good scripts. Like they sign, like especially Olivia Colman, she doesn't just pick anything. Like she is very like there's certain actors out there and that are very particular about what they pick, and she said yes to this. I think money may be part of it, but
of course. Well, let's take it one step above. Sam Jackson signed up for a television show. Yeah. Do you know how fucking big of a deal that? Like, when is? Hold on, let me. Has Sam Jackson ever done a TV show? Has Sam Jackson?
I bet he's appeared in. I mean, he was in Agents of Shield, but like that wasn't like a major role.
Yeah, but I'm also like, do we really think ABC paid that paycheck? Come on, y'all.
I mean, I'm pretty sure it was like, okay, we'll pay him.
But I'm excited. I'm ready to see Secret Invasion because. Again, because I haven't read the comic. Again, I only saw the infamous storyline on Earth's Mightiest Heroes, which I think for many people, if you guys don't want to read the comic, but at least get a little taste of what it could be, I would. Isn't Earth's Mightiest Heroes on Disney Plus now? Or like, where is it?
Just watch both seasons, guys. Just watch the show. You're gonna love it. Trust me. If you love Marvel, you're gonna love Avengers: Earth's Mightiest Heroes. It is worth your time.
And that theme song will get that theme song will get stuck in your head.
I miss watching that show. Yes, we are Skrulls. You figured it out. Thank you, Victor.
Scroll noise. I don't know.
Scroll noise. Thank you for the super chat, Victor. Thank you.
Because they always talk. Thank you so much. We have one more super chat, and Naruto, we will read it. We will read it as part of this. So, this is okay. So next one, we're gonna go back to DC now. And this is the Flash trailer. We usually don't cover TV trailers for an upcoming episode, but okay. But this is actually a funny story. So Jordan was messaging me about this week's episode of In This Multiverse, and I said, okay, we're gonna talk about we're gonna talk about these trailers, like the Flash Arrow trailer. He's like, what Flash Arrow trailer? I'm like, and it had been like almost like 30 minutes, I think, at that point. And I'm like, you don't know? Because I just assumed, because the thing is, I was writing it up, I was working, so I'm like, he would have seen this by now. He's probably just editing it right now. That's why I didn't call. But like, there's a trailer for episode 9 that is like 1 minute long, and he's like, "Okay, I gotta go. I'll talk to you later. Bye." And then just goes and watches.
Yeah.
So this episode will air on Wednesday. Not August, April 25th. Jordan would have, it was the 26th. Jordan would have massively smashed the CW's heads if they had made him wait till August.
Yeah, they delayed this one until August. They play everything else.
But there's not a lot that I am allowed to say or comment on this trailer. So you will get most things to say here. So what did you? I mean, you must have cried at some point after rewatching it, right?
No, real fast, just to address Naruto. Apparently, there's already a season 2. I don't think Secret Invasion has a season 2, but thank you for the super chat. But it's not confirmed. But I wouldn't be surprised if maybe, but I doubt it because they've already said they're continuing the storyline. Respect the work, hustle, chainsaw. I mean, hey, you gotta keep going at this shit. There's so much stuff to cover. But to the point of Naruto's super chat, I think the Oliver Flash episode is going to be good. I don't think Daniel's ever directed. She's directed some great stuff.
Yeah, she did the first Godspeed episode.
She did. And that was the flash forward with Nora, right? Yeah. Yeah.
It wasn't. It's weird to call it a flash forward because she's flashing back to it, but it's her future.
Yeah.
So I'm like, what the fuck is this? But she did Godspeed. She did License to Elongate in season 6. She did Raider the Lose in season 7,
Mhm.
and then she did Keep It Dark in season 8.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I actually like Keep It Dark to some degrees.
Andy, I don't know. I don't think Andy. Have you seen the episode, or you're not allowed to say?
I have. I can answer that. I haven't seen it, but I know too much
Yeah, okay.
about it.
So, okay,
Warner Bros. Would fucking sue me if they knew how much I've been sitting on some of these things.
Yeah. So, if it wasn't for the Ahsoka trailer, this would be my favorite trailer of the week because this is amazing. I remember the news of Diggle and Wally and Bloodwork. And then the next day, Stephen Amell. And Stephen tweeting, of course I was coming back. And seeing the trailer made me lose my shit, as you guys probably saw. I was so happy because this is something I was desperately needing, because this is the end. And the fact is, too, they made a point in the trailer. They said the Arrowverse.
They've never used it in
Yeah.
any trailers. So
And now they're using it, and they're like, one last time. I was telling my wife, the ghost, I was like, hey, this is major because this is it. Like, because I think something came out today, Stephen Amell's reset again, I'm not in the finale, and he doesn't need to be in the finale of Flash. There was a reason why Barry and Carr were in the finale of Arrow because of the circumstances, but we don't need him in the finale. But just the way they built this trailer, the hug, which of course is in the middle fucking shot. I had to include the hug shot. I like the fact that Oliver allowed it, but then he's like, Barry, let go. And then Bloodwork looks great. Seeing all four of them, even though that's a photo from set when they shot, that photo is still one of the best photos. And then they actually released an actual photo of all of them like standing together from the episode for a promo shoot, and it was awesome. It was a cool angle of them standing together. It's just blowing my mind that this is happening, and this is me speaking of highly about this after I have been like literally, and I'm not, I'm just being honest, I've been basically really upset and really frustrated and really disappointed with what Flash is doing in the last couple of weeks. It's not all been terrible, but it's just not been great. And to see this trailer and for me to go, holy shit, and people going, it's another, interlude episode. The big difference is that this looks fucking amazing. That's the big difference.
Well, that's the thing. It's not really. It's. I would say this.
Is it like a precursor to the last arc, kind of setting it up?
Kind of. I mean, you'll feel that it is definitely, leading into its final graphic novel. But it's like this is like I think like. Here's the thing, for people to say it's an interlude, because I know people they're using interlude now as a derogatory term for these type of episodes. Here's the thing. I didn't like episode 6. I hate episode 6. Jordan had to literally come on just to save me because I was about to be like, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to talk about this episode. He was the only way to cheer us up.
I had to go to the Flash podcast for that episode to save the day, to go on and go, guys, what the fuck happened? What the hell? And then 9/7 was better, and then 9/8 was
just the Nia and Iris stuff. I don't care about any of the rest.
Yeah. But then 9/8, where it was like, it's interesting. It was interesting.
It was a fun episode. Come on, it was a fun episode. You know what? West Island fans, we have never had a West Island interlude.
Yeah.
So
well, and look, and what I'm saying is, it wasn't all bad because I felt like most of the stuff in terms of the Speed Lab and all that stuff before the reveal of Lady Kronos, which I feel like that it was such an obvious reveal, it's what really kind of ruined it for me because it was so obvious they were setting it up. And it's just the fact that the other shit, which is the Allegra Chester shit, because it's once again, I hate it. And the only positives, at least they didn't fucking have it hold out for several episodes about the will they, won't they. Yeah. They got it done in the same episode. Scott, we see your super chats. We will definitely get to them in the last topic for sure, which we're talking to Ahsoka next. Thank you for the super chats, but just want to let you know we will get to them. But this trailer is amazing. This is, to me, Victor says it brought tears to my eyes seeing these two together again. It's amazing. And I'm so happy they have a hug. Because I was like, man, they better fucking hug in this somehow. And they show it in the trailer. It is amazing. I know you can't say much, but I'm assuming that the trailer, you got excited to see.
Yeah, of course I got excited. Yeah. Like, of course, first of all, Keenan Lowen's still coming home one last time as Wally was, and it's a big story for Wally. So I'm excited to see how this is all going to play out. I love Senhill as Bloodwork. I think he's definitely one of the best villains in definitely Eric Wallace's run, but also in the Flash's whole arc as a whole. Because Finger, I think, was started great, but was executed poorly. We all know about Cicada. We don't need to talk about Cicada. The Force says, "Fuck no."
Wait,
and
you want to talk about Cicada?
Oh, good lord, no!
Oh yes, this is happening.
We're not even at the end of the show yet.
Well, you said surprise you, so we're gonna. This makes total sense, guys.
Every matter will die.
He's angry. Do you want the other Flash clip too? Since we're already here.
No, later. Later. But yeah, I love all this footage. I'm glad we actually got like a good 1 minute trailer. And kudos on the scene that we're finally using the Arrowverse. It's like the thing is, they need to trademark that.
Yeah,
but yeah, instead they
why do you think they used it? Why do you think they used it? Because of Steven and the Arrow?
Maybe, but I also think that they're just like realizing that no one is responding to the CW verse whatsoever. So maybe we need to just
even though it's dead, it's dying, it's over. It's like now they want to fucking.
But it's like I remember when everyone, rightfully so, called out a CW when they were like trying to market a CW verse. It's like, why are we calling it? All of us are calling it Arrowverse. So
even the actors were calling it when they were doing interviews. I think it was. I don't remember what it was. I think it was. What's her name? Who plays Dreamer? Nicole Maines. Yeah,
Nicole Maines. Yeah,
Nicole Maines was doing like a Instagram takeover, and she was answering some questions via the just stories on the Flash, and she answered a question, and she says, because it's like I think it was about Superman and Lois appearance or something. No, that was another question, but there was something about her appearance and maybe appearing again. She's like, well, in the Arrowverse. I'm like, so even the actors use it. They just mentioned Arrowverse. I think Steven at one point said it's not the Arrowverse. And then I responded on Twitter whenever he said that, went, no, man, it's the Arrowverse. Like, I get it, man. Because look, it's his show. I get it. But man, you're on, the top of the pedestal of this shit in terms of what's been built out over these years of these shows. So, but I get his point. But any last thoughts about this trailer? I mean, I love it.
I think that's all I can literally say about the trailer without going too far.
And they did a good job of highlighting and showing off some really cool stuff without giving too much away, I think. In terms of, and I like Stephen Amell's Barry, what did you do this time? Because Barry's always screwing up something.
I mean, it's like people just forget that Legends mess up just as much, if not more.
Yeah, but we don't address shows that are not real. Okay, so let's dive into the final thing, which is something that dropped this morning at 7:30, but the time zone's very different where they're having celebration. We're talking the Ahsoka teaser trailer. Now, I don't know what you thought about it because you saw it in between, because we actually filmed something which is coming out Monday. Are we allowed to say what that is or no?
Yeah, we can allude to it, something with a certain show.
We'll talk about it in Q&A potentially. So this trailer drops. I woke up in the middle of them having the showcase panel announcing all this stuff and talking about all these shows. Then Ahsoka came up thinking, okay, maybe they'll drop a trailer, maybe not. They dropped a trailer at 7:30. I'm like, Jesus. So I had to quickly get everything together, and the trailer is glorious. It is perfect. And the fact it's a teaser trailer, and they showed so much in a teaser trailer, because I'm sitting there thinking, with the title teaser trailer, it's going to be some establishing shots, which there are, some character shots, there are, but they're not going to show too much. But no, they showed a lot. They made sure to highlight pretty much everybody that's going to be in this show, minus a couple that they're not going to reveal because it's spoilers. But they showed off, of course, Ahsoka, Sabine. They showed off Hera. They confirmed finally Hera, because we all knew Hera was in the show. We all knew who was playing Hera, but they finally today announced who it was. Mary Elizabeth Winstead as Hera. Chopper. What were you gonna say?
Oh, isn't she also in Indiana Jones 5?
No, she's not. That's some Phoebe something
Phoebe
Waller. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm sorry, they look alike. They look
Oh, it's
very
okay.
much alike.
It's okay. But so we have all that. We have a hologram of Ezra. We have a behind shot of Thrawn. But they didn't show Zeb, and they didn't show another character that's supposed to be rumored in this thing. But obviously, that's revealing too much. But they did a great job of basically showing this is a sequel to Rebels. This is exactly what you knew it's going to be. You have these two mysterious dark Jedi characters with this oranges, like it's more orange than red sabers. One's fighting Ahsoka. That's Ray Stevenson, by the way, Punisher fame. And I didn't recognize him at first. I don't know who the girl is. There's a lot of questions about who their characters are. It's a fantastic teaser, and the fact is too, we're getting it in August. It's like we don't have to wait too long. Thank God, because they could have dropped this trailer and went October, November. Thank God they're not waiting that long for it. You saw the trailer. What did you think of the Ahsoka teaser? Now, you haven't seen Rebels, so you don't know.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know any of these characters. So like for me, I'm just like,
it looked cool, right?
It looked really cool. Definitely really cool. I just like again, I didn't know who any of them were. I was just like sitting there nodding, like, okay. I see how it is. I understand nothing. I just know there's a bunch of actors that I recognize that are in this. I mean, it looks great. You know, like again, the fact that I mean, I know what Ahsoka looks like in animations. The fact that they made that look come to life so well is pretty phenomenal.
I really hope Ashley Eckstein, who voiced Ahsoka, is in it somewhere, like a little cameo or something. I feel like she deserves that because she's
I mean,
she brought her to life, you know, and has been playing her all these years. So
I feel like I mean, it would be surprising if they don't even get her. You know, I could see her do a voice cameo as like a droid or something, kind of like what Tara Strong does as Miss Minute in Loki.
I mean, also too, like I don't know if they would do this. I mean, they could do this. We had seen in Tales of the Jedi, that animated 6-episode limited episodes that they did in October of last year. They had shown Ahsoka as a baby when she was first born, and we see her mother. That'd be interesting, even though we kind of already saw that with Last of Us doing the actual voice and motion capture of Ellie in the Last of Us game being her mom in the show. But I mean, I was just thinking like they could do something like that. But yeah, so Scott has 2 super chats associated with this. So thank you, Scott, for the super chat. Do you think Han, Luke, and Leia will be involved in the Mandoverse movie directed by Dave Filoni, which is Star Wars news that came out today? I hope so. Chance to see the big 3 in their prime and team up with Ahsoka and Mando. I don't think it's possible because now on top of incorporating the Ahsoka series, Mandalorian, Book of Boba Fett, and I think Skeleton Crew, because I think that is in the same timeline. In terms of time period, I don't know if they're going to be incorporated though. On top of all those characters or their interconnected story, you're going to have a CGI Luke, Han, and Leia, like deep fake. In like, I get your point because in the Thrawn, because I have the Thrawn trilogy right here in the original Thrawn books, and I get their interaction with Thrawn in that series, the Legend series, but this is not the same story they're telling. So, but I like your enthusiasm that you would like to see it, but I don't think they're going to go that route. I think at some point we'll see more deepfake Han, Luke, and Leia, but I don't think it's going to be in this film. I could be wrong. Thank you for the super chat, though. Another one from Scott. Thank you. Would love to see Han, Luke, and Leia meet Hera, Sabine, and Ezra and the rest of Ghost Crew. So basically the same thing. Hope they don't waste the opportunity to please fans. Well, I don't think. I mean, fans would like it, but I don't mean it's not necessary because the characters a part of the Ghost Crew and Rebels were completely separate. You know, like they were not interwoven with all this. I understand the interconnectedness with Ahsoka being the Padawan at one point to Anakin, and now she met Luke, Anakin's son, and Book of Boba Fett. So strange to say that because it's like in the Book of Boba Fett, Ahsoka Tano met her former master son for the very first time that we've seen in canon here in the Book of Boba Fett. It's so weird to say that. But I mean, hey, if it happens, people will be happy. But thank you for the super chat and support. Thank you. I did read the Ahsoka novel. Yes. Oh, did you notice that David Tennant voiced that droid at the end of the trailer? Or no?
Oh no, I did. I did not. But that's awesome. I love David Tennant. So good for him.
Yeah. Do I and last thing here we'll answer before I dive into Q&A because we have a Q&A thing as well. Ooh, Victor, thank you, Victor.
Freddie Prinze Jr. is in Star Wars.
He was the voice of Kanan in Rebels. Yep.
Shit, I didn't. Wow, I
Yeah.
missed things.
Yeah, it's really cool. I think there's a chance. There's a chance we'll see him. Thank you, Victor, for the super chat. Thank you so much for supporting. Thank you. Awesome trailer. Are the shows Mandalorian and Ahsoka connected to the latest Star Wars movies, or are they based in another universe? Since they have a lot of questions. Well, it's all in Star Wars. It's all in the same timeline. It's just the new movies that were announced in terms of James Mangold. He's directing a film that's, I think he said 20,000 years in the past. So way before everything else. So that's not connected. The Dave Filoni thing is the culmination of what they've been kind of building up in terms of Mandalorian, Ahsoka, Book of Boba Fett, and I'm throwing in Skeleton Crew because I believe it's going to somehow tie in or connect because of the timeline. But we know for a fact Mandalorian, Ahsoka, and the Book of Boba Fett because of their tie-ins and how they're all interconnected. Dave Filoni's directing a film that's the culmination of that, and apparently Kathleen Kennedy, who's still the president of Lucasfilm at this point, said that also that the film is actually the culmination of Grogu and Din's relationship and their bond. So I don't know if that means that Grogu is actually finally going to go off on his own and not come back to Din, or if it's something else entirely. I don't know. I don't think they're going to kill Grogu. I don't know. They could kill Din. They could kill the Mandalorian. They could kill him. It's possible. But that's there. And then with the other film with Daisy Ridley coming back as Rey, that's 15 years after Rise of Skywalker. That has no connection to any of this. But I get your point because there's still questions, people going, well, are they going to decanonize stuff? No, it's all canon. If it's happening under Disney Star Wars, it's all canon.
Yeah, I kind of wish they hadn't said he shouldn't have said Mandoverse. He should have said like Mando Saga or something.
Yeah, they just call it the Mandoverse because it's all the stuff that's intertwined with Dave Filoni and James.
But I think it invites a lot of
questions because like
not question. It invites people to then be able to say, "Well, see, like we can say that this isn't part of the sequel trilogy or the prequel trilogy or anything like that." And so on. I think it's. I don't know. I think he should just said Mando Saga or just said like the Mandalorian Saga or something.
Yeah, or Kathleen Kennedy could have said on stage the culmination of the Mandalorian, Ahsoka, the Mandalorian series, Ahsoka, Book of Boba Fett, and if Skeleton Crew's in the mix. Like instead of saying how she said it, but I guess she wanted to simplify it and didn't think this could cause confusion. But I mean, to me, it doesn't because it's all canon. Because some of the stuff they've talked about and referenced in these shows are tied into other things and they're tying them in. But Victor, I get your point, and you said okay, thanks, done here. But thank you so much for the super chat and supporting. We really do appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for being here. I mean, I'll throw the Q&A image up just to sing it, but we have a little thing here. But we're gonna jump into Q&A, guys, and take your guys' questions and all that. Q&A, ask us questions or we'll fucking leave.
The Riddler. So many questions, so many riddles.
Yeah, I should have went with green. But I think I've used this before for something. I found it again. But we're here, guys. Take your questions. Let's talk. Let's talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. Whatever. Here's a good question to start off with, as the stranger threw in here a second ago. What do you guys think about the MCU 616 versus 1999 debate that Spider-Man Across Spider-Verse started? I personally think it's a pointless and stupid.
I mean, if you listen to Iman Vellani, she will also agree it's stupid and pointless because she defines it as Earth 19999. So, and because she's queen, I will listen to her. So, 616, don't know him, don't know her,
don't know him. Don't know him. Yeah, I think it's interesting. I feel like it just brings up more confusion. I don't know. I think it's just more confusion. More news about Rogue Squadron, Rangers, New Republic. Well,
Rogue Squadron was it a Patty's movie?
Yeah, Rogue Squadron was Patty's film. Catholic. I didn't get to the part in the interview, but it said that there was like a thing on Twitter about saying that Kathleen answered the question about saying Rogue Squadron could still come out or could still be made. but that's like, I think she's just saying that to be nice. Because I mean, look, imagine if you're at Star Wars Celebration, you're being interviewed. I think it was IGN who interviewed her, and they asked that question, and she goes, "No, that thing's dead." Like, she can't say that it's mean, and it'd be rude. So there's that. And Rangers of the Republic was canned because of the firing of. So yeah. But I get your point. But I mean, personally, I would like Rogue Squadron. If I had to pick one of the two, I'd like Rogue Squadron personally to happen. Rich, thank you, Julian.
The first episode he ever showed up and he takes off his shirt.
Of course,
and played one of my favorite Nelly songs. So,
gosh, thank you, Scott, for the super chat. Thank you so much for the support.
Thank you.
Luke will at least be involved because he's a part of the Multiverse fishing. Yes, but doesn't mean he has to be involved. Because just because he showed up in The Mandalorian Season 2, just because he appeared in the Book of Boba Fett doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean he's going to appear fighting Thrawn. It's not confirmation. I get your point, and trust me, I would like this stuff. I'm just saying, don't set your expectations like, okay, it has to happen because Luke appeared in 2 of the shows. It doesn't mean anything, because there's also a thing to where that Mando film, this culmination film, Dave Filoni's directing, there's a possibility that certain Mandalorians in The Mandalorian that had roles are not going to be in the movie. There's also potential possibility that Boba Fett only has 2 or 3 scenes in the movie. There's also potential that Sabine, who is going to have a big role in Ahsoka, maybe she doesn't appear often or not at all in the film. It all depends on the story. Throwing in Luke doesn't make anything better. I get your point. Oh, it's Luke Skywalker. Yeah, but does it make sense to the narrative?
Can I add I would say perspective?
Yeah.
For someone who isn't like a big Star Wars like fan, is that they need to move on from the Skywalker family. I think that's what's been holding Star Wars back the most. I think maybe, even though I like the Sacred Trilogy, I can understand if longtime fans didn't get with it because, again, it was such a mixture of bag. But then we all see all these other shows, and we see that all these other characters we can explore throughout the Star Wars universe. So I don't know why people still want to see them, and also I don't really want to see Leia anymore because we lost Carrie Fisher. It's like, just because we can do deepfake doesn't mean that we should. I think it's one thing when you have like Leia at like age 9 or whatever she was in Obi-Wan, but it's like, guys, it's like deepfake is not just a solution to everything. Like, I would say they should just move on.
It's a good point. I feel like I think they started trying to use Luke within the shows because they're trying to not retcon or decanonize what they did in the sequel trilogy, but they're trying to show this is the Luke people wanted to see. And so they're trying to this is what Luke would have been at the time period anyway. So it makes sense. Not like they're just making shit up. He would be as powerful as he is when we see him in his 2 appearances. Even in the second appearance with Grogu, he doesn't really do much fighting. It's just training. But in that Mandalorian season 2 finale, he is wrecking shop because that's where he would be at that moment. But yeah, I get that point. Because I think that's gonna be the interesting thing about James Mangold's film, is that it is the very first Jedi ever, right? Coming into the Force, like learning about the Force and all that. And then the idea of, like, even though Luke is involved with the Mandoverse, as it's being phrased by Kathleen Kennedy in this whole section of Star Wars here, a lot of it isn't Skywalker stuff. I mean, he's like, Luke appeared twice, but in the grand scheme of it, it's very minimal compared to all these characters that have appeared either in the Clone Wars or Rebels, or they're brand new, like Din. Like Din didn't appear somewhere else before this. And so it's cool that we're expanding and creating new things that are maybe intertwined with the Skywalker stuff, but we don't need to focus too heavily on it. It's not like...
Also, think about it this way. It's like the equivalent of using the trio that we all love so much is the equivalent of Warner Bros. Just relying on Batman and Superman and Wonder Woman products all the time and not letting other characters shine. So, it's... And it feels like one thing that has kind of been off-putting for me, at least like following these shows, even though I don't watch them, is that it seems like people make way more noise about cameos that happen every week than the actual storylines that are happening. That I'm like, if it's called Ahsoka, make it about Ahsoka. If it's called Mandalorian, make it about the damn Mandalorian. If it's about the Skeleton Crew, you make it about the Skeleton Crew. Like, don't use these other famous Star Wars characters as crutches.
Yeah, because the cameos with Jack Black and Lizzo and Christopher Lloyd. Jack Black and Christopher Lloyd was cool, and Lizzo, I don't really care. But
Listen, you do not disrespect Lizzo on this show.
I'm not disrespecting. I'm just saying I don't follow her music. I don't care. And also, too, the Jack Black, Christopher Lloyd stuff, it's cool, but their characters were not necessary at all. And I get the point, too. Well, there's times in shows they throw in characters that are pointless and useless, and they really don't matter in the grand scheme, but they're just a part of the universe and it's world building. I get that aspect, too, but they're not going to appear again. Jack Black and Lizzo and Christopher Lloyd, they're not going to appear again, ever. I don't see them ever appear again. Not watch. They do, whatever. But after we have this big thing in episode 5, then we dive into episode 6, where 90% of it has nothing to do with what we just established at the end of episode 5, is really frustrating. It's a sidetrack. It's really ridiculous. But I also get everyone's, because everyone has different perspectives on these things. You know, we have too much time on our hands to think all the damn time about this stuff. To the second part of your question, Scott, finally getting to it. Thank you for the super chat. Will Kara appear in Flash series finale as a surprise? No. I don't see Melissa Benoist appearing at all. If she does, great, but I don't see it happening. I have watched Gotham Knights. Andy had seen the first 6 episodes a while ago. I watched episode 4 this week, and yeah, it's a show.
Oh my god, you're being so dramatic.
It's blah. But it's not like to the point where it's like.
What if it's flaw? Why you keep watching it? No, obviously your subconscious still finds something intriguing about it.
We already discussed this when you were there at that stream a little bit ago about. I just need to see where they're taking this Court of Owls stuff, and if they do something completely over the top and stupid, I'll drop it. But I just want to see what they're going to do with this.
Well, clearly you don't think it's entirely stupid and pointless because you're still watching. So
no, because I openly said this on Twitter. The Court of Owls storyline, which is the majority of it, is saving the show, because I'm like, okay, because see, in episode 4, won't say what it is unless people don't care about spoilers, but just in case there's that one person who hasn't seen it episode 4 yet, there's a thing that happens between Turner and another character that I didn't think would happen, that reveal would happen in episode 4, but it did. So I'm like, okay, that definitely amps up the tension here, because I'm thinking, okay, he's not going to find out who that person really is. And then we find out at the end who the Talon is. So I'm like, okay. Like it's like the way they tied that in, I'm like, okay. Like now you have piqued a little bit of interest. The only other thing that's also interesting that I want to know what the fuck it is the pages that Carrie Kelly ripped out of the journal that says, what would Turney do when he finds out the truth or something? I'm like, what's that all about? Let's see. Okay. Andy's not watching The Mandalorian, but I mean, his answer's too many lows because he hasn't seen The Mandalorian.
Yeah, I can't choose. It's like choosing between like something I'm allergic to and something that I can eat. Mm-hmm. I'm like, well, I'm always going to pick the one that I'm not allergic to. So
we haven't talked Swamp Thing because we only talked about the trailers for this episode, but we can talk briefly about it. So James Mangold, it's confirmed he is writing and directing the Swamp Thing. I don't know what he's going to do first, the Star Wars project or Swamp Thing. I don't know.
That's what I'm curious. I'm almost thinking it has to be Swamp Thing, because like, I don't even think this Star Wars movie that they announced today is anywhere near done. Like I think the one that probably most furthest along way is the Rey one, but like yeah, I think James will start with the Swamp Thing and then do the Star Wars film.
Yeah, because I feel like the slate that James put out with the five TV projects, 5 films is not exactly the exact slate they're going to release in terms of, because I mean the Swamp Thing film could come out after The Authority, which is supposedly the second film, if the rumors are be believed about how far along they are on that. Because I mean James confirmed Superman Legacy's first, Creature Commandos is technically before that because it's actually coming out first for TV. So I'm guessing 2024 Creature Commandos will come out. But yeah, I mean it's probably gonna be Swamp Thing, probably, because James Mangold said he's writing on both at the same time. So I'm guessing he's just waiting for someone to sign the dotted line so he can know which one he needs to put more focus on. I'm guessing. And probably whenever he signs on to the one, he can't work on the other until the movie's done. I'm guessing. Let's see here. I loved Gotham Knights. About the game or the show?
I love the show way more than I love the video game.
Supergirl's cameo in Gotham Knights. Yeah, she's not gonna be in the Flash. She's gonna pop up in Gotham Knights. You figured it out. Let's see here. Jack Black cameo in Gotham Knights.
That would be iconic.
That would be. Thank you, stranger, for liking the video. I think Andy liked it too.
I mean, that man has no. I have no care for that man whatsoever. So yeah, like the fact that he's fucked up more. I mean, that doesn't shock. Like, I'm shocked. This is shocking. I'm very shocked.
Are you? How many other Star Wars related new things can come out? Well, I think they're having the Ahsoka panel tomorrow, which I thought the trailer was going to drop then if there was going to be a trailer drop. I think it was confirmed Jedi Fallen Order, not Fallen Order, sorry, Jedi Survivor is having a trailer on Sunday. And that's, as far as I know, in terms of major things, I don't think there's anything other than that. I don't think. Yes, we heard it. Yeah, Daisy's back. Yep. Daisy's back. How did you feel about Clark's diner scene in the release episode? Yeah, let's talk about the diner scene for Superman and Lois. Did you not like it?
I have complex feelings on that.
Let's talk about it. If you don't want to, it's okay.
I know where this will lead, so but I will just say it anyway. I completely respect the fact that he sticks up for his family. So, Jonathan was freaking assaulted, and Lois was threatened to her life. But this goes into one of the problems I've had with Superman and Lois since the very beginning, and not so much a little bit with the show, but also much more the general perception of it, is that yes, everyone knows I'm a big Snyderverse fan, but I also love all things DC, so I'm not just stuck to one box. I like that. I like that we're in a society where people could not stop bitching about Zack Snyder's so-called Dark Lord Edge Superman. But then when Superman Lois essentially has the exact same tone, essentially, it's like, oh my goodness, revolutionary television, never been done before. Oh my goodness, the best Superman of all time, cannot be replaced. He should be the DCU Superman, yada, 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 yada. Y'all are fucking hypocrites. It is fucking hilarious to look at it because it's like, people saying like, oh my God, he was showing such restraint. Bitch, he threw that head into the table.
He could have killed him.
That could have killed him. So, Julian, shut up and do not test me. So for me, it's like, cause let's take an example. Let's take a scene in Man of Steel when Clark is working at the bar and so on, and he's trying to protect a female visitor who, a female guest, a citizen, whatever, who's getting harassed by some dude. Clark calmly, kind of like, you need to knock it off, whatever, and so on. The dude goes on to throw beer at him, throwing things at him, trying to punch him. Clark does nothing. He just stands there and takes it. Then he puts the truck, he goes and does all the trucks up and so on, and people act as if Clark has committed the biggest crime of all time. Of like, listen, guys, do trucks have feelings? Do they have human organs? Do they have skeletons? Are they actual human beings? The fuck they are. So, but the fact that people bitch more about this, but then Superman Lois does the exact same thing. Here's the thing. Let me tell you something. Whether you want to accept it or not, Man of Steel walked so Superman Lois could fly. If you think for one fucking second that this show isn't influenced by some of the Zack Snyder stuff, you're fooling yourself. Here's the thing. Applaud. Kudos to them for acknowledging beautiful art that we had in movies but that people could not stop bitching about, being, oh my god, dark DCEU, we cannot deal with this. That's why everything is getting rebooted. We're losing everything because this is a domino effect, people. And I'm sure I look crazy. It's fine. I don't care. I don't care.
You're making a good point because.
But again, I love to see that he's stuck up for his family, but I
Mm.
also despise the hypocrisy. And the thing is, like, there's a lot of things in that scene that doesn't work. First of all, Miss Lana Lang, mayor, you're supposed to be leading this city, this town. You didn't even stand up once and say shit about it.
Nope.
So that if I was a citizen in Smallville, I'll be like, why is the mayor not doing anything? Why is she not calling the police or anything like that?
Yeah.
The fact that none of these motherfuckers in this bar or this diner go, did you see how he like didn't even move an inch? That's like, like, listen, it's like, anyway. So there's a lot of things that doesn't work with that scene. But again, Superman Lois can do whatever he wants. If Tyler is missing for an episode, nobody gives a shit. If Grant takes an episode off from the fly, people bitch till their lungs give out. So, but I like the scene, but also there is hypocrisy to be addressed there. So,
Yeah.
but I think some people just don't. They're blinded with this show. They just don't want to criticize the show for whatever reason. And here's the thing: I love Superman Lois too, but I can actually, as a critic and as a journalist, accept that there are problems with this show.
Mm. Yeah, I never said the show is perfect. I feel like the argument point about Tyler taking an episode off and Grant is the difference. Is I feel like once again it brings up the supporting cast. Superman Lois, I feel like has great supporting cast.
No. I'm not buying that, because here's the thing: the fact that people can complain about Grant being gone, but not Tyler, that's double standard. If the lead is gone from the fly, you cannot come and say it's okay that Tyler's gone, because the supporting has nothing to do with it. The show is called Superman and Lois. The show is called The Fly. It should fucking feed those characters. So, like, the supporting cast my ass. Again, this is why I didn't want to talk about it, because I knew I would go into a rant.
Well, I'm just saying my perspective, because
it's okay. And I respect your opinion.
Well, because my thing is that the Flash doesn't have great supporting characters. I don't like the supporting characters. That's just me, though. There's some people that love them, because when I said that the worst character on the Flash ever is Chilblain, people are like, "Well, you're not talking about Cecile, who's clearly the worst character." So everyone has their own perspective on it, and it's like.
It is a seal, though. Like, I mean, at least Chilblain had abs I can look.
No, it doesn't fucking matter. Chilblain's still the worst character created ever. It's the fact that the thing is too, like, I feel like the reason why the double standard is kind of there is because Superman Lois hasn't been on for 9 years or for 9 seasons, unlike Flash, where more time as the show goes on, the more Grant can take off and stuff. So the fact that Tyler was gone for an episode, people just. Because I also feel like people were, for the most part, loving Superman and Lois over the Flash. Because when I posted about my thoughts over the last number of weeks about the Flash, people just keep telling me they don't even watch anymore. And it makes sense, because my views on my videos have dropped over the years because less people watch the show and they don't care about reactions. So it just goes to show that the show has lost a lot of people. But it's like, if Superman and Lois was on its 9th season, I think more people would complain, because Tyler would be gone a lot more, and also Elizabeth Tulloch and probably the boys as well.
Then let me flip it on your head on this.
Yeah,
Grant never took off an episode in season 3. He was in every episode. Why is it okay for Tyler starting to do that?
Contracts, man. I don't
No,
know. I don't want to talk about this because I don't fucking know. I don't have an answer, because I don't know, because the point that we were discussing earlier about how there's a whole thing about how the Flash is living up to its expectations, because we were kind of hoping it'd be like Arrow in terms of, ending its final run with the final season and how they're everything. And then you had made the point, this is a different CW, and Canada, I was saying it's a different CW. It's not the same network then. So it's probably the same situation there. Back when they shot season 3 of The Flash, maybe Grant didn't have the power to ask for time off, versus Tyler, who probably has more, who knows when he signed his contract, or when he's, continuing with seasons, if they're saying, do you want to take some time off? I don't know. I can't answer that question, because things are different now. Because when they shot The Flash, that was 22, 23 episodes. Superman and Lois, 15 for season 2. And he took an episode off. And, there were people that complained online. that he wasn't in the episode. But for me, it's like, okay, they gave a
No.
story purpose, but
Al, no. We're not fighting. We just have different opinions. I mean, the thing is, we
oh no,
mostly agree.
we're fighting. Fuck everybody. We're fighting.
Well, fuck your face. No, here's the thing. I just think that anyway, I know people are not going to think the way I do. It's fine. But the fact is that I will always look at the show through two eyes. One eye that looks at it as this is a great show. This is a really good show. But there's a lot of hypocrisy from it. And I just don't think Superman Lois is as revolutionary as some people make it out to be. Because again, I will say this. I didn't sign up to watch a show for a Lois Lane kind of story.
No, one
I did not.
No, we were brought into this show with the understanding that this is Superman and Lois. They're co-leading the show, which they still are, but this is also Earth Prime. No, it ain't. And now they're giving one of the co-leads a storyline that just I think I'm trying to understand why they did it, because the more I think about it, it's like I think the only reason why they did is because it's tying into the Bruno shit that they're doing with the whole Adamant had cancer and they're tying that in. I think that's going to tie into fucking Lois stuff. I don't know. Like, it's just, did Lois get cancer in the comics? Was there ever a story arc that happened?
There's been some comics that have done that, but I think that my problem with it is the fact that a lot of people, and I think some people will look at it's great that superhero media is using their platforms to tell some of these stories, but at the same time, it's like, how many cancer stories does television film have year in and year out? Mm-hmm. For me, it's like the reason why, even though I hated Iris' time sickness, is that it was a fictional disease.
Yeah.
But with cancer, it gets way too real. And the thing is, like, if this is the final season, and this is the biggest storyline Lois Lane has ever had on this show, that's a failure.
I'm also wondering if they did this because they didn't want Lois, because like Lois has had some storylines in the past, but a lot of her stuff is tied into specifically just her work and then her family dynamic with her and Clark and the kids. I wonder if they did this just to give her something else that's a part of her storyline now. I don't know.
But you know what it tells you? Well, you know what it tells you, though?
They're not creative enough to come up with something else.
They're not creative. And that means that a woman's story is not interesting if her life isn't in jeopardy.
Yeah, because I guess it wasn't enough for in episode 2 when her and Chrissy were locked in that ice freezer, and then they have to get out of the freezer to then call for Clark. Like that, because to me that was a great scene, even though it was still tied into the cancer stuff because Lois was skipping on her treatment. But the moment where she got out, Chrissy was hiding and then hit the button and she screamed top of her lungs, "Superman!" Like, that was a great moment. Like he fucking got there quick. And
but again, it's like, but then there goes to another point. Does she have to have cancer to be able to do that? Is there nothing?
No, she doesn't. No.
Yeah, and that's why I've always been very hesitant when they announced Todd Helbing was going to be the showrunner of the show. I was like, I don't have a good feeling about this because I think there are because I know people in the comments that after that watch it on replay are gonna go, "Oh my god, and it's obviously a Flash show. That's why he hates Superman Lois." I can fucking like multiple things, you morons. Like, I can. What I'm looking at is the fact that Superman Lois is making choices that I find very questionable. Because the thing is, like, I've seen better Superman stories than this. Them having kids, that's the only new thing about this show. If anything, I love all the John Henry Irons storyline right now than I do with anything with Lois' cancer. Again, I thought it was great that she went up to the cancer's father. I thought that was great. Yeah. But again, it's like, why does she have to have cancer? Again, I don't think you would have ever seen this type of story if a female showrunner had done this. Also, interesting enough, we have never had any female creators do a Superman story. We've had female showrunners on Smallville as one of them, but almost every story for Superman in live action and in movies and TV shows are all for men. And again, it's like, if you think this is the best you can do with Lois, and again, if this is the final season, we know she's going to be fine.
Yeah.
We know we ain't killing her all. But the thing is, like, why do we have to suffer for 13 episodes of her having cancer?
I wonder if they're going to clear it up somehow before the final episode.
They probably will, but it's like, again, I think the story is going on for way too long. So
Victor with the super chat. You feel Gotham will help make show about court? Is he saying the Court of Owl show? I don't know.
I'm not sure. Can you clarify?
Yeah, can you clarify, Victor? Sorry for that. Thank you, Scott, for the super set. Okay, I'm zooming confused. Flash movies were been in DC Universe, especially, but Blue Beetle and Aquaman and Lost Kingdom come out after it. How do they fit into universe? Well, Blue Beetle, we think, is in the new DCU by James Gunn's comments.
More so than Aquaman, honestly.
Yeah, Aquaman, I feel like it's just because it's the post production is taking too long, or it takes a long time. So I feel like that's why. Because I feel like they would put out Aquaman before Flash if they could, but the Flash has been done a lot longer in terms of shooting, so they've had a lot more time. But thank you for the super chat. I mean, I understand the confusion on it, but yeah. Let's see. Maybe that one. I would hate to embarrass you in front of your daughter. Well, I mean, the whole thing is like he didn't want to do that in front of her because, he didn't want to show that.
Hey, Jordan. I don't think this thing's as long as they can write. Well, can Todd write?
Well, that's the thing. I mean, Todd's not been.
He couldn't even keep a straight face and just tell his viewership, hey, this show is not part of Superman Lois. This is the same Jordan that thought Cicada was the best villain we could come up with.
Also, she has a point about Jordan also frees the dude's car at the party to get back at him. So there's also, vandalizing cars there. Thoughts on the Harry Potter reboot? That was a big thing that came out.
I am both excited and also really scared at the same time.
I'm in that same boat. I mean, at the same time, I feel the idea of rebooting Harry Potter as a TV show, a season per book, I think it's interesting because that gives them more time to tell. Because there's stuff in the movies that were omitted from the books. I just didn't bring them into the movies, and things they did change somewhat. But I also don't think, unless they're saying it's 6 episodes or whatever.
Oh my god! Could you imagine, if all this big deal about taking a book adaptation, making it adapt a book from each season, and it's just 6 episodes, and it's only for 42 minutes. I mean, what the fuck is even the point?
Well, that's one thing. Like, what if they do that? It's like an hour-long 6 episodes. They would probably still have to add more things that are not in the book to fill out the time, because at a certain point, you're just dragging along certain storylines. Like the movie, I think the movie's found a great balance of keeping the pace going, but also omitting shit. But at a certain point, are the runtime of the episodes and the amount of episodes per season, are they going to, because the first 2 books, actually the first 3 books, Prisoner of Azkaban, of course, 3, Chamber of Secrets 2, and Philosopher's Stone or the Sorcerer's Stone, depending on where you're at, is 1. They are smaller, they're shorter. So they would literally have to add stuff in to make up the time so that those episodes aren't damn short. And it's still, I think, too close to the films. Even though it's been a while, I don't know if people are going to be on board with this.
Let's remember also one thing, because the deal hasn't been made yet. So first thing, I think they would have to make a deal. Mm-hmm. So that means that the show will not even start film. I think by the latest we could maybe get the show by 2025 or 2026. Because
it'll take a couple of years, yeah.
Yeah, because if they're aiming to adapt all 7 books, that means that whoever becomes the showrunner, which will not be her, but whoever becomes the showrunner will have to adapt that idea of a 7-season plan. If we're doing 1 book per season, which again, it's like, okay, if it's 10 episodes per season, I think this can be really, really good and honor a lot of the material that we didn't get to see in the movies. But then you also have to start doing like location scouting and like how, a signed deal of 5 seasons at least for, be able to wherever the new Hogwarts is going to be.
Yeah.
And then you have to start casting, and then you can get into filming. But here's the thing also, we're about to possibly enter a writer's strike that is likely going to delay things. So even if they decide to sign the deal tomorrow, no scripts right now can be commissioned because there's a potential strike coming. So
until the deals are all figured out, well, the different unions, they can't really do shit.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably why it hasn't been officially announced, because they don't know what's going to happen. Because those deals end the end of this month. Some of them do. They have to get negotiating now. Thank you, Julian. Yes, mom and dad are fighting. That happens all the time. And guys, it happens so much off camera you don't even know. It's constant. Scott here at Super Chat. My theory: Keon would defeat Cobalt. Keon defeats everybody. Oh my god. Is this true?
Can we not?
I don't even know what's going on. Let's see. I don't think the first Lois lost her baby. Oh yeah, first Lois lost the baby in Canada. Yeah, so yeah, that too.
Oh yeah, but everyone just has selective memories, I guess.
I mean, oh yeah, I forgot. But the thing I was going to click on was Fernando saying that. I mean, I think Blue Beetle's gonna be fun, based off that trailer. It's gonna be fun. So Matt Reeves' Court of Owls show would be really cool. Yeah, that would be cool. I think the Court of Owls will make an appearance at some point, in his stuff that he's doing. Let's see. Court of Owls. Yeah, so Court of Owls. I mean, look, I think a Court of Owls show, maybe under Matt Reeves or something connected to that, would be kind of interesting, because I feel like there probably is a Court of Owls in the Matt Reeves stuff. But
and they can do, and each season could focus on a different, like, let's say if the Court of Owls was something that existed way back in like the 1800s or something. That would be pretty dope.
So do a show of the origin of the Court of Owls within that universe.
And then season 2 could focus on whoever we're about to meet in the movies.
Like set them up, establish them, and have them maybe interact with
exactly. Or like you could have a prequel show that'll last for 5 seasons that focus on like different eras, like the 1800s and
early 1900s and
1950s, 60s, and then leading up to.
It'd be interesting if, like, we saw, like, so season 1's like this 1800s, the foundation of the Court of Owls, and then the second season is like how it's like weaving through a couple of the previous years, so where they meet Carmine Falcone, they interact with Penguin somehow, and then whoever else Matt Reeves introduced in the Batman 2, that they maybe interact with Harvey or something. Like, there's a lot of things they could establish within that show to kind of lead into whatever's next. So the Batman's like, so there was a lot of people like questioning that. There was even somebody, I don't know if you're gonna get this reference, but someone had called George Lopez. They mistaken him in my reaction. They commented saying, "Get Carlos Mencia out of here with his Batman is a fascist line." And I'm thinking, I comment saying that's not Carlos Mencia, because they said that because Carlos Mencia was accused of joke stealing, and so that was a part of their comment saying, "Go steal some more jokes." I'm like, that's not Carlos Mencia. That's all I said to that person. But I mean, look, people are upset, like you were saying earlier, about over one person's opinion. You know.
But it's because those YouTube channels just needed something to complain about this trailer for, because they were like they would actually find themselves enjoying it. They're like, oh my god, like we actually can enjoy a blue, a brown superhero, like not something that isn't white. And then, but they just had to find something to really to get pissed about. And now they're doing all these random videos. So,
of course they are. Is the writer's strike, will that cause shows to be delayed or canceled? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So anything that is currently, I mean, look, they were saying House of the Dragon season 2 is going to go into production at some point. If that writer's strike happens, it's not going to. Anything that is currently shooting right now will have to be shut down if something occurs. So now I'm guessing anything in post-production that won't be affected, right? Unless it has to do with
if they're asking it will Flash, Zoom and Load be affected? No, they're good. They're good
because they're done shooting. But anything that's in pre-production or in production, like shooting, it can't move forward. It can't. And that's like, I think when the writer's strike happened, that's when a lot of reality television started coming up because they didn't need writers for that. So there was a lot of that going on, but yeah, it'll be interesting.
With super chat from Victor.
Oh, I mean, Dealfield Bruno will have something to do with Lois treatment and have her turn on Superman with powers. The second part, no, but then again, I don't know how that works because Adam Man was still. Well, no, he really wasn't himself because when he had his powers, he was like they're like they're in my head, or I have to fight or something. Like he wasn't in the right state of mind. So I mean, I could see your point, and also too, there's some iterations in the comics where Lois becomes Superwoman. So maybe this is their way of incorporating that into it, but they could have found a way to incorporate that without going the route of the cancer storyline. I don't know, because we already had another Earth, and they made a point to where John Henry Irons meets his sister from this Earth. And so that's there. And and the thing is too, she's looked at him and she's like, oh, you're like that cube that was in season 2. And he's like, yeah, you're kind of like that from that. Like he's like, yeah. And so like, that's how they bypassed her not completely losing her mind and screaming and running away, like panicking, because there's her brother. So like, that's how they quickly explained it. So, I mean, they could have Bitsy show up from another Earth as Superwoman, but instead I feel like you might be right. They might go the route of where she's going to be a version of Superwoman with powers, and she's going to be controlled by automatopoeia and attack Superman. I don't know. Who the fuck knows?
This gives me such a headache. Like this, I love Bruno Mannheim, but like,
Jack Coleman is doing a great job, by the way. He's doing
he's fucking amazing. He's probably the best one we've had since Talrow.
I mean, he's so good. And so when it comes like, is that the guy from The Walking Dead? Yes, it's the guy from The Walking Dead. We all know he's from The Walking Dead. But Victor, you might be onto something there. Let's see. Andy has been here.
Yeah, I haven't gone anywhere. We were both gone last week.
Yeah. Oh my God, it's gonna be the birth of the rebirth of TikTok reality shows. Oh God.
Aren't we technically already in it?
I mean, we are technically, because these fucking TikTokers are getting fucking shit. Any thoughts on this week's episode of Flash? Well, it's mixed.
All the West Island stuff was great. Cecile and Allegra can go fuck themselves.
That was so stupid.
I felt so bad for Chester, because I'm like, he's Chester's the other than Bear and Iris, like Chester's the only character I can stand right now on the show.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, like, well, besides Barry and Iris,
I literally just said them.
Well, I just wanted to make sure that I was also agreeing with that, saying yes. Besides them, Chester is the only. Because then people are like, "Well, no, Chester's terrible." Like, no.
Why? People are just he's guilty. He's getting guilty by association because he's with Allegra.
Yeah. Well, I think also there's people that just don't like Chester because he replaced Cisco. And my thing is, that's the thing that's mainly against him, is that he was brought in just to replace Cisco. Like, that's what he is. But they've done more with him than he's just the tech guy. Like, he has more background, story that is okay. The father thing and the stuff with his dad and everything. And he seems like he truly is a part of Team Flash, where Cecile is just there by association because she's with Joe, and now she has powers and she keeps doing all this crazy shit. And Cecile, Allegra, I just could not give a fuck about Allegra. And the thing is too, that Allegra Cecile scene was so basic and generic in terms of their conversation about how I'm afraid to love somebody because of what's happened in my past. Oh my God, this is so fucking generic. This is
she brings up like the worst people to reflect on that. So wait, so your love of Chester is affected because of your love for Nash and Esperanza? Come on.
The Nash stuff, okay, I get somewhat, but no one cared about her.
The Nash stuff was creepy.
Well, I get that creepy because of their age difference, but at least I look, because it's freaking Tom Cavanaugh. Like, okay, fine, bring that back up. But no one, I dare you, find somebody who likes Allegra's cousin. Find somebody who gave a fuck about that character even one slight ounce. I don't know there's anybody. Because when they showed the flashbacks of Nash disappearing and then the death of her cousin, I'm like, oh yeah, Nash, and then cut to her cousin. Like, no one cares. Because no one cares. No one gives a fuck. And that's the problem, Cecile. No one cares about her fucking storylines. No one has ever cared. And they've tried to get her in part of storylines, her own stories. It just makes it worse because I just don't care. And to the point, like, Allegra's fucking issues of not telling Chester that she loves him is so basic and generic. It's like there was no thought put into this whatsoever. It's the most basic shit. I've been hurt in the past. The people I love get hurt and nothing happens to them. Oh my God, shut up. No one cares. This is nothing interesting or compelling. And some people go, and the argument can be made, well, you're against Allegra, so it was never going to work out. No, if they actually would have had an actual conversation that wasn't basic generic bullshit, then I would have said, hey,
like a Disney Channel conversation.
Yeah, because their conversation was so fucking basic. Cecile was like, he's not going to leave you. And I kept saying in my reaction was Cecile's like, she said it twice in two different ways. Chester's never going to leave you, Cecile. I'm like, he could. Don't fucking tell her that he won't, because he could easily say, I'm done. Because if she went off and kissed another guy or went off and slept with another guy, he could say, I'm done. Don't ever tell someone, oh, they'll never leave you. Shut up. It's like literally at that point I was going, I don't know who fucking wrote this episode, but my God, my head is hurting. Same thing with 9-6. The writers, I'm like, what the fuck are you guys doing in there?
And I feel bad because the thing is that here's what I will say, and people can say, it's a chill for fly and so no, I just know how television is made more than you guys do. They have budget issues. I don't think even Steven Spielberg himself, with those reasons for those 3 interludes, could have made anything better. If he has an episode where like Grant and Candace are not available, you can only get this metahuman. You have these players to play with. Like there's nothing to be made. With 7, I think the same thing. People are crapping on 7 for whatever reason, but it's like, because come on, Iron had a great story thanks to Nia, and it was great to see Dreamer again. I don't care about the rest of the bullshit of it, but like, let's not pretend there wasn't things that we could enjoy last week. In this week's episode, you know what? As a West Alvin, I was happy that we got an interlude for once for those 2. And that's
one of the positives. The positive,
they were so fun together.
They actually had some funny moments. They actually had some meaningful conversations about the future of their lives in Nora. Like that's where it boils down to. It's not the fact that they have budget saving episodes. My problem is the writing of these budget saving episodes, because that stuff was interesting, and that stuff because the whole dynamic of Iris has thoughts of, I wish I can go back to where I wasn't pregnant, but then there's other times where like, you know, our lives are changing, and Barry's making a crib and he's painted it purple. You know, it's like these great little moments between these 2 characters, but then you have this other fucking dialogue in these moments where you could actually have a poignant, actual, impactful conversation to the audience, and it's fucking dull as shit. And so my thing is like, oh, write something where some more crazy shit happens and it's causing more CGI budget. That's not what I'm saying. Actually have conversations and actually have meaningful storylines that are still budget saving, that are actually entertaining or at least somewhat interesting, that furthers along the plot. Because what exactly happened?
Wait,
I want
to address it for once.
Guys, because these were filler episode, it doesn't mean that suddenly like, we could just choose to bring back 8 fucking series regulars.
No,
that's not how filler or interlude or ball episodes work. They work to save money. You think it's somehow? You know what? Let me bring up the Flash Arrow trailer overlay. Bring it up right now.
Okay. Let me find it down here. Okay, here it is. Yep. If
we had wasted any money on those fucking legends, you would not get Steven, you would not get Keenan, you would probably just get Diggle. You would not get half of the stuff that you're getting in the series finale. Guys, stop thinking that you know how budgets work. Just because something is a filler episode, it doesn't mean we can just take out characters and then use money on other fucking characters.
Yeah, like with all this stuff right here. So if we would have brought in, say, 8 or 7, 8, whatever the fuck, how many characters they had, including Booster Gold, by the way, because he got arrested too, bringing all those characters in, you wouldn't have this. You wouldn't have probably some of the stuff in the Red Death arc, because all that budget is all within the season. They have to figure out how to balance it all out to get to the finish line without going over budget. So this would not have occurred because Steven... because compounding, this is why the last 3 episodes, and I understand Nicole Maines was in it, but Nicole Maines, let's be honest, she's not that expensive. But to get all these people, they had to make sure that we have enough budget to finish up our last 4 episodes after this one in a way that would be filling as a finale. But no.
But here's the thing, Stranger. This is the trap that I knew Eric would probably never want to get himself into, because if he only brings back 1, but not the other, then every Legends fan are going to bitch and moan on Twitter till the end of time about, oh my god, why did he honor the other characters and so on. The thing is, like, you can have one favorite, but the thing is, like, The shoulders of Legends of Tomorrow, not the Flash, not Batwoman, not Black Lightning, not Arrow, not Supergirl, not Super Lois. The shoulders of Legends of Tomorrow, they put themselves in this position because they wanted to fight the network and try and get another season. When they know they are one of the bubble shows.
Yeah.
So their Legends is to blame for the mess they got themselves into. It is not our the Flash responsibility to somehow wrap up any of y'all's storyline. And the thing is, if we bring in one character, you have to bring them all in. And the thing is, Eric knows better not to do that because one, he can't afford it, but two, he knows that it's gonna piss off 7 different fractures of that fandom.
And let's be honest, there is way less people that wanted Legends characters over Oliver Queen and Diggle and Wally West. It makes more sense to have Oliver, Diggle, and Wally and the Flash over the Legends cast. Let's be honest. But Sarah and Barry started to bond in Crisis Part 5. That was it. You want that over Oliver, who was there, who introduced Barry in season 2 of Arrow, and then was there in the Flash pilot, who gave him, kind of the idea of being,
Crisis and every crossover,
all that,
it's like
everything. So no, real fast, we'll probably continue with this, but John, so thank you for the super chat. Ahsoka series hype, yep, I cannot wait. It looks so good, even though Andy didn't know anything about it. He's like, it's so cool trailer. It's a really good trailer.
I know who Ahsoka is.
Oh yeah,
that's it.
Yeah, Rosario looks amazing as Ahsoka. Like looks awesome. That fucking lightsabers and shit, so cool. It's like 2 people every stream. Well, like the thing is too, it's like people.
Are we annoying, or what is she saying?
No, like it's the people that are always constantly bringing up why couldn't they have Legends? The thing is that it's not about okay, Legends can't have anything. It's the fact that it's not like the Flash is getting a season 10. It's not like the Flash is getting more than 13 episodes. There's a finite amount of stuff they can do. And the fact is that they already spent a good amount of money on making a Red Death suit, getting Javicia, getting a bunch of new rogues in the mix. And then you have the interlude stuff, which you are bringing in some guest cast there. And they already planned out, okay, we're going to have all these characters from Arrow, and we're going to have Wally. We're going to have blood work back. We're going to have to make a CGI blood work because we see a hint of that in the fucking trailer. And then in the final arc, we're going to have a bunch of returning cast that we know are confirmed and nuns that are not confirmed, but we know what's going on. But they have so much stuff they're doing. At a certain point, you have to focus on, as Andy has been saying, as I've been saying, as people who understand what needs to be done, this is a Flash show. This is the Flash. This is not, we need to wrap up other people's storylines from other shows. Because notice how they didn't wrap up Javicia's Batwoman. They just had her appear and had her playing another version of Ryan. Notice when they brought in Nicole that they didn't find a way to wrap up Supergirl because Supergirl already wrapped. It already ran its run. They just added more onto the idea of the Dreamer, the first Dreamer. And with Javicia, it's like even though they didn't get a season 4, they didn't technically end, but they found a way to conclude, thankfully, with season 3 kind of wrapping up its own way from what I'm understanding. They didn't have to find a way to wrap her story. I feel like that's the problem. They brought in other people from other shows. Why not Legends? Because that's a different issue entirely. Because you can't.
And it's one issue that they got themselves into. It's not like Eric Wallace went to the Legends showrunner and said, "Hey, and then on a cliffhanger, and we will totally wrap it up on our show."
No,
like guys, be for fucking real.
Eric's been involved with the show for so long. He's been a showrunner since season 6. He is not thinking, "Oh, how can I help another show?" And the thing is, too, it would be different, guys, if Legends didn't end on a cliffhanger. Because
if they want to do a comic, great, but then go bitch about it to DC Comics. Don't go to Eric or the Flash writer or constantly bring up in the Flash hashtag every week. Why didn't we use one of these ended episodes on the Legends? Go to fucking DC and tweet to Adam, not like fucking Flash.
And the reason why they can't bring this back, Sarah has been saying, the cliffhanger. If they didn't end on a cliffhanger, if they ended on the Legends with Booster Gold, they could just say some time has passed and here's Katie Lotz for an episode of The Flash just to have her in it. If they could afford it and they just, okay, we'll do that. But the fact is, they ended the way they did. There's no way you can, because they could have the thing of where here's Katie Lotz, and he's like, oh yeah, so me and the Legends and the Booster Gold, this guy, we broke out of prison.
And you know what's gonna happen then? They're gonna be like hashtag cancel Eric Wallace for hating Legends or whatever and so on because he didn't bring in all the other Legends. It's like, guys, I'm sorry, but you know what? Let me put this out there. If you don't want a show to get canceled, then fucking watch the show. Simple as that. I don't make the rules. Hollywood does. It's not my fault.
Thank you, Julian. That's exactly what it is. He doesn't owe the shows anything.
Yeah.
It's the showrunner's fault for doing that.
And we're talking about the Legends showrunner.
Well, yeah, the
not
Legends
any
showrunner.
of the, yeah.
Of course he will be. There was one thing I saw. Yeah, so the world, a new world, part 1 through 4 is the titles. Interesting.
Where the Legends were erased forever.
That's probably what it is. I imagine if they did that. The director of Dawn of the Jedi is the director of DC Swamp Thing. Well, I mean, I don't know if it's actually called Dawn of the Jedi. I guess that could be the title of it, but yeah, I mean,
the name somewhere on Twitter. Like, what is that? Is it like?
I'm guessing that's what they're referring to as it's literally the birth of the Jedi. I'm guessing that's what. I don't know if that's the actual name because see, they didn't give a name for any of the other films. I think they called Dawn of the Jedi is because there's an image that came up when they were on stage, and it showed like the icons with certain things like the High Republic, and here's this era, here's the First Order. Maybe that's where they're getting it from because I'm pretty sure it popped up at the beginning of the timeline showing Dawn of the Jedi, I'm guessing, but I don't think that's gonna be the title, but it could be because it literally is about the first Jedi getting the Force. But yeah, he's working on both, but we don't know which one he's doing first. My first Star Wars novels, probably the Thrawn trilogy for sure. I like the Ahsoka novel, even though I kind of wish it was better. But have you read any Star Wars novels or no?
All I did once was I stood in line at Comic-Con for the first Star Wars: A Legend book that came out from my friend Michael, but that was it. I got him a copy, great, because it was part of like the the new canon for Disney stuff. But that's the closest I ever got to Star Wars books.
Gotcha.
I've held one, never opened one though.
Oh, okay. I've held them. I just do I have any? No, I have the Gotham books. I had showed you those. Gotham books. This is if I can actually get this out, maybe I won't be able to. Yeah. So these are Legends, but it's a trilogy. It's called the Legends Han Solo trilogy.
Why they bring back the Legends tomorrow?
Yeah. There's Han and Chewbacca. And it covers the Paradise Snare, the Hutt Gambit, and Rebel Dawn. It's really nice. It's silvery. It's kind of hard to lighting, but it's like silver edge pages.
Brandon, we're not trolling you about Legends. No. If you love Legends, I also enjoy Legends. Believe me, I watched all 7 seasons. We're not trolling you. We're just saying that what people want of the Flash when it comes to tomorrow is unrealistic. It cannot be done. If you want to go and fund the money so Eric can go do it, so he can another couple episodes to do it, be my guest. If
the Flash got 20 episodes, sure, maybe if it's in the budget. But if we got 20 episodes of Flash, I don't want Eric to waste budget money to get that cast back if there's other things he could do to help the Flash show end better. And for it to,
he was talking to me on it. Okay, no, never mind, Brandon. Sorry.
Oh,
yeah. You know what? Let's just move on from this topic because again, this is
we can just have it forever. But ask us some random questions, guys. We'll be here for a little bit longer. It's almost 11, so I think we'll end it at 11. So we have 12 more minutes. Let's talk about some other things.
What are we gonna bitch about when the Arrowverse is over next year? When we don't have any, we don't have Superlow, we don't have Gotham Knight, when we don't have the Flash.
We'll bitch about the DCU not starting fast enough. We'll bitch about the MCU, sorry. We'll bitch about how there isn't a lot of cool shit on TV. I don't
know. I heard so much bad stuff. I watched a few clips. I rather watch the James Gunn Scooby-Doo movies.
They're nostalgic. They're not great.
I love them. Listen, I love the first one. Like I love it.
It's so silly how there's people like, Velma's terrible, which it is, but it's like, guys, if you want to watch good Scooby-Doo, watch Scooby-Doo Mission Incorporated. That shit is great. I hope Ahsoka does the World Between Worlds. I think I don't know if we saw it in the trailer, but there was something going on in that one fight scene with that one Dark Jedi character. Do we like Kyle from Superman and Lois? No, he's terrible.
I like the actor.
I think he liked one of my tweets a couple weeks ago. But I'll say this: one thing I do like about Kyle is in this week's episode, he made a point to like try to get Lana and Sarah to actually have a conversation because he was being the intermediate between them two about their fight. And I thought, that's the one thing that I think is like, okay, Kyle, you're being a good ex-husband, a good father.
But he's been trash for the past 2 seasons. Like,
yeah,
he's
his
whole like I hate Lois because she's a big person, a city person, and then like his lame ass apology in season 1, like, oh, I'm sorry, Lois, I was so hard on you, and then he cheated on Lana in season 2. I'm like, that's garbage. Lana deserves better. And so yeah, he was a good plot device in this episode. Congrats, Kyle.
Good job, Kyle. It's insane how Scooby-Doo crossovers with everything from Batman, WWE, Crypto the Dog, but not once they cross over with Ghostbusters. They even cross over Supernatural. That's a good point about Ghostbusters. Yeah, I mean...
But okay, so the WWE, I don't know how they were able to make that happen, but like Batman and Crypto,
they did. I think it's like 2 WWE animated
right, I'm saying I don't know how they were able to do it rights-wise, but it's like Batman and Crypto, it's
DC.
It's
Warner
Brothers. So I understand why.
Yeah, Ghostbusters, I think Ghostbusters is Sony. I think so. Maybe that's why. I think WWE, since it's not a studio, like a movie studio or a production thing, like they're their own separate entity, that they could pull that off. But yeah, I get your point because it's like, oh yeah, Scooby's going to cross over with like Warner Brothers properties is easier. That's why the Supernatural, because it was under CW and it's a Warner Brothers production.
And it wasn't a specific Scooby-Doo show. It was just like they got into an episode of Scooby-Doo that exists in their world. So
you gonna stream on Twitch? I mean, you do stream on Twitch, but yeah,
I haven't streamed since December. I honestly been so busy with school and work and Multiverse of Color, everything, that I just haven't had time. But also, I haven't really feeling inspired to stream in a while. So
yeah,
we might see after the summer. But right now, I'm just
lots of going on.
I'm just not feeling it. Like, not a lot of people show up, and also like I just don't have time for gaming right now. So
I hear you. I feel like at points you kind of like go, what's the point? Like obviously you want to have fun, but at the same time it's like I could be sleeping.
I could be sleeping. I could be I could be working on articles and make money or whatever. I could be studying and catch up on my homework and shit and so on. So like for me, we will see. If I come back, you will know.
You will know, guys. You will know. We'll be on here for a few more minutes, guys. Do you have any last minute questions? Any last super chats? We will be here to answer your questions, guys. What do you think of the rumors of bringing Kylo Ren Ben Solo back? Should they somehow Kylo return? They won't. I don't think so. I feel like I'm pretty sure Adam Driver's done with Star Wars. Then again, we thought Daisy Ridley was done with Star Wars, so I don't know. Johnson, I think it's possible Ahsoka get a season 2. I feel like there's a lot of story. I mean, it all depends on what this culmination film that Dave Filoni's directing, what that means. Will y'all be on next Friday? Yes.
It's the Friday after Jordan will be missing.
Yeah, I'll be gone on the 21st. So yes, it'll be Andy doing operating the show.
If there's a show that week, because I may need to take a break as well.
So if he takes a break, then obviously if not, he could have a guest, or if he wants to run solo, that's up to him. But he gets free reign, whatever he wants to do, because I will be unavailable. I won't be seeing much of me in terms of posting on social media, probably not. It'll be just my videos being uploaded at their times in terms of Batman and Ben 10. Ben 10. Because I'll be done with everything else when I leave. If you could do a Scooby-Doo crossover with any franchise, what would you want to see?
Either Sailor Moon or Naruto.
Interesting. Sailor Moon. I remember watching Sailor Moon a long time ago, like the old original show. Long time ago. Didn't they do like a reboot or something of that in animation or anime?
Sailor Moon Crystal is more based on the manga.
Okay. Is it worth the watch, or?
I think it's definitely worth the watch. It's like I think it's still streaming on Hulu, and then because they taken so essentially what was supposed to be season 4 became like a 2-part movie. It's on Netflix, and the Eternal arc that is coming up is also going to be like a 2-part movie as well, I believe. So, but it's definitely updated. The animation is beautiful. It's great, and so yeah, I would check it out if you guys have Hulu or Crunchyroll or whatever it's on right now.
Yeah, I would watch. I'd like to have Scooby Doo crossover with, Scooby Doo crossover with The Walking Dead somehow, dealing with the zombie apocalypse. That'd be funny.
I don't know if they could survive that.
Yeah, they would not survive. I'm going to see Metallica in November. Both shows at the same venue. I mean, Chill Snore. You meant Chill Snore. Here. So between the Blue Beetle and Trailer Spider-Verse, which one was your favorite? Spider-Verse, personally.
I think Blue Beetle for me because I've been a fan longer. But the thing is, we can have both.
Yeah,
and I love that the director the directors of Blue Beetle and Spider-Verse, they were supporting each other, like, because we can have multiple Hispanic superheroes.
Did you see the Barbie trailer?
I've seen the memes of like
the Barbie poster,
the Barbie poster, yeah. I don't know if I watch it, I watch it, but right now I haven't done it.
I don't blame you. I had to check it out because like I need to know what the fuck's going on here, because that first teaser really didn't show hardly anything. It is very pink. It looks very. It literally looks like a Barbie toy town come to life. Like it's that like aesthetic in terms of color and everything. I don't know. It's
I just
weird.
I just puked when I just saw that Simu Lee was in the film. But
yeah, there's so many people in that movie. It's crazy. Will Ferrell's in the movie too. Yeah, Barbie teaser everywhere. Considering who's directing it. Yeah, so like there's a lot of like big people behind this thing. I don't know. I would love a Mystery Incorporated revival, even though I'm not done with the show, so I don't know how it ends. But yeah, I would love to see more.
If it was on HBO, they were cussing. That would be fun.
Oh yeah, it's like the revival on HBO. Like so, like Scooby comes in. What the?
I know.
Fuck?
I think you meant. I think Jordan meant on HBO Max, but it would actually be genuinely funny if it was on HBO.
That was something that was brought up about the Harry Potter thing, because they were very specific about if they're going to go through with this show, it's not going to be HBO. It's HBO Max or whatever it's going to be called.
See, I think I read too much conflicting stuff about that. I think it's going to be what they do with the
Last of Us. House of the Dragon, maybe.
Yeah, House of the Dragon. I mean, I don't know what Last of Us does, but I definitely House of the Dragon. I think they're not gonna do a Harry Potter show just on HBO Max. They're gonna do this on.
Oh, so like it gets more viewership. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting because HBO is more.
It will be listen, David's like, if you fucking put it on HBO Max and not on HBO, you're the dumbest fuck I have ever known. Then I mean, you already are, but
yeah, I think that it would make more sense viewership wise. I mean, HBO is more known traditionally to air adult content, but this would be the one time I think you have the exception where it's not adult content, but a lot of people are going to tune in on HBO Live and on HBO Max at the same time when it drops or airing to watch the show. And I mean, The Last of Us benefited from being on HBO and then airing live on HBO, putting on HBO Max same time. House of the Dragon did the same thing. Game of Thrones did the same thing as well at a time when they had when it was like HBO Now or whatever, which was like the live the
There's been so many fucking HBO Go, HBO Now.
Yeah, because HBO Go was their mobile version of if you have the cable service. But HBO Now, at the time before it became HBO Max, was the streaming service for HBO. So yeah, it's confusing. But I feel like it's going to be. They might just do that, because imagine if they just say HBO Max, so you don't really know the numbers. If it's on HBO as well, it's going to skyrocket those numbers and show how popular it is. Because that's what benefited House of the Dragon, I think, because they could see the live viewership numbers of episode 1 to know how well it did its premiere. So, yeah. No, Harry Potter doesn't need to be dark. It doesn't need to have a serious... I mean, at times it did in the movies, but it doesn't need to go dark because it's going to be on HBO. If that was the case, it doesn't need to do that.
But that's gonna be it, I think.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much it, guys. We thank you guys so much for being here, part of our revamp kind of In This Multiverse. You guys saw we had these different clips. I'll be adding the timestamps in right away. We had all these great things to talk about, so make sure you guys check back. to watch the clips or whatever, but we thank you so much for the feedback on what we could do to help improve the show. And we think this definitely looks more like, in line with, I think, what we wanted in terms of it's very clear what we're talking
but
about.
Also, we would love to hear more regularly from you guys about
Yeah.
like, what other things we can do, because we want to go up. We want to go up.
Yeah.
So the thing is that respond whenever Chainsaw sends out those messages. Respond. Like
Yeah.
just and here's the thing. We don't mind if you have to be constructive or negative, like because that's we don't want to hear that. Oh my god, we love the show. So tell us, like, think about it really hard, like what are things we can do differently. So
yeah, things that we can improve. So obviously, if there's things you guys think we can do to make things better, but I think this is a good step in the right direction with the background images and making it more very clear what we're talking about, and it's gonna be fun. It's going to be fun to continue. But we will see you guys, of course, next week with This Multiverse episode 53. Probably more news-oriented in terms of that, with if any trailers drop as well. But as you guys know, we always end with this clip. This clip will never go away. It will never die. But as you know, Cicada has to end it for us. Take it away.
Metas killed your parents, Gracie. They all deserve to die.
Don't believe him, Grace.
Don't believe him.
I did want to play one of the new clips real fast.
Okay, go for it.
Bring the war.
Of course, when you take it out of context, it is so funny.
I know.
I still love the Red Death storyline. Well, like, again, yeah,
dude. When I pulled that clip, the cutting is perfect. The warning up.
We love Division Leslie as Batwoman and Red Death, but man, out of context, that shit is fucking hilarious.
Oh my god, that's hilarious. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this week's episode. We will see you guys.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Yeah, make sure you guys support the stream in all the ways: viewing, likes, shares, all that helps out. Thank you guys so much for watching. Bye, everybody.
Bye bye.